Hi guys, George Glinsky here from Toe the Line, joined today by Andrew the Bomber Ross. Andrew, how you doing, my man?
Good morning, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very well, mate. I see Ukraine in the background, the beautiful overlay there. What are you doing over there?
I am just doing a spot of travelling and a bit of training, just cutting around, enjoying myself before I come back to the UK.
Beautiful, beautiful. Much more interesting than here. About 15 degrees. We did have some beautiful weather, but things have changed. So, Andrew, you've got a really interesting story. We will talk about that a bit later on in an exclusive interview, talking about your life and so on and so forth. We're focusing on Carl Hobley. We're focusing on BKB 21. But I wanted to start off right at the beginning. So, you spent 7 years, I think it was, in the military. You came out in 2017.
Right.
You decided to adjust to civilian life in a different way to a lot of people. You decided that your hobby would be bare knuckle boxing. So talk to me a little bit about how that started.
Um, it wasn't. I think it chose me as opposed to me choosing it. I got out of the army. I got out of the army due to an injury. My leg was fucked. We was. I was looking at getting it amputated. Literally, got put to sleep to have it amputated from the knee. And then had about 13 operations. The last one they was going to amputate it, and then I came round and they said they saved my leg. But my career in the infantry was ended. That was done then. So I was in that house. I was in married quarters in the army. So when I was released from the army, I lost my friends, my house, my job. I lost everything. So I got out of the army and I was in a serious depression. The gym kept me going, but I didn't have any direction other than going to the gym. And then I was contacted by someone to do a bare knuckle fight. I'd always wanted to do it. So yeah, I accepted. But when I was looking at getting my leg off and they saved it, I was never going to turn anything down again that I wanted to do. So when that opportunity was, I took it with both hands. So yeah, and like I said, I've not been born in a boxing ring like half these lads. I wasn't born, should we say, a born boxer. So I didn't believe I should take a wage from it. I didn't believe I should take money from it, and that's where this whole charity thing came about. Because so when I didn't believe I should be paid to fight. So I took the money and gave it to charity, and that stayed ever since.
Perfect. So you started off in the pit. You moved later on to the ring. How did you get on? I think, how many fights did you actually have before BKB?
So in the pit, I had 6 fights, 5 or 6, and in the ring, I've had 2. One was a loss, and one was a win.
So eight bare knuckle fights. So quite the veteran. How did this call come about? Obviously, BKB is the biggest platform in Britain. You know, it's a really big step up in competition. How did Jim put this to you?
I don't really know. Eric likes to think it's because of him, but no, I think I was in the army with Smudger Smith. Smudger Smith, I think, got out months before I joined, so we knew all the same people. We had a lot in common, and then that was it. Really, I think Smudger mentioned me to Jim. Jim's had a look, and he likes what he's seen. So yeah, I got a call to come up to Canelli's gym and sign a contract.
Brilliant. And this is, I suppose, the next logical step, moving up through 8 fights on the regional circuit, we like to call it, up into BKB. How does it feel to be making this signing? Do you feel ready to take it to the next level?
Yes, I believe I am. During lockdown, all the gyms were shut, couldn't train. So I took a contract in Iraq purely because there was a gym over there. To be another lockdown fight, I would have been going into it with minimal training, which wasn't acceptable on my part for a debut. So I went over there, did some training, came out of that contract 6 weeks later. I was on my way back to the UK. And one of the sponsors called me, Nicky Fletcher from Pure Gold. He offered me his apartment in Italia and told me to finish out my training there. So I've stayed there for a couple of months. I've done a bit of training there. And then again, just to Turkey being red flagged, I've come out to the Ukraine to further do some more training for another few weeks until I come back to the UK. Should have been the 24th, but who knows now? I'll stay here for a little bit longer, I think.
Yeah, so it allows you to extend your holiday, but training hard, and you've got a who's very, very tough, Carl Hobley. He defeated Rob Cunningham at BKB Lockdown 2. I wonder what you think of him as a fighter.
As a fighter, yeah, he's not necessarily been on the bare knuckle circuit, but he's certainly been on the boxing circuit. I think he's very, very good. I know he's dropped a lot of weight for this fight. I know he's training hard. We actually speak quite a bit. We've spoken quite a bit previously, and he's doing everything right. And he's pleased with his training. He's pleased with how it's getting on. So it's shaping up to. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. I'd like to say he's a wanker. I'd like to say all these sorts of bad things about him, just to try and change my outlook on him. But there is no doing that. He is a genuinely nice bloke. He's a top man, and also sending half his purse Isla's way towards the charity, towards the girl sponsored. So absolutely stand up bloke. And
that's where your money's going, I assume, to Isla.
Yeah. Every fight will always go to a child. It gets put in. The sponsors will nominate a child. We've got a sponsors group. They'll all nominate a child. We'll discuss within the group which child's going to go forward and receive the purse for the fight, and then yeah. So basically, that was the child that's selected. So that she'll receive the purse, and the next fight will be another child. So yeah, it's every time.
Brilliant. How hard is that, fighting someone as likable as Carl Hobley? You're both very nice guys. Obviously, you donating your purses to charity. Does it make it a bit more difficult to punch the guy in the face?
Yeah, this is it. A lot of people have asked me this who are not really into the fighting thing, and they're like, just how can you do it? And it's flicking that switch, and it's control. I believe these people who have got to get angry and they've got to get mad, and they've got to sit there giving you shit. They're probably the weak ones, because they can't switch it on and switch it off, and that's what you've got to do. It's a sport at the end of the day. It's not a fight outside a night. It's a sport, so you've got to switch it on and switch it off.
Agreed. How do you see
controlled aggression, as they like to say in the military? Controlled aggression.
Controlled aggression. How do you see this going? A lot of your fights ending early. I understand you've put a lot of work into your cardio, a lot into dropping your weight. Is this going to go a few rounds, or is it going to be a first round knockout once again?
What heavyweight bare knuckle really goes very far. I mean, one shot can end it. But I'm new to the sport, new to the boxing world, new to the fighting world. So I used to think bigger the better. I was coming in fights at 20 stone, trying to knock the guy into the middle of next week. It don't work like that. And I've learned that. I've learned a lot in the last 2 years I've been doing it. So yeah, muscles don't win fights, as they say. They eat your oxygen up, and you end up blowing out your arse, as shown in diagram A.
Where are you right now? Did you say 16 stone, which is right on the limit?
Yes, I'm going to be on the line for the heavyweight court. Yeah.
What have you been doing to get down that low? Obviously, that's a 4 stone cut.
Well, I've been in the heat. Do you know what I mean? So I've been in Iraq. I've been working in Iraq. I've been in Turkey, and it's just been so hot. You just drop the weight. Going for a run, you're sweating twice as much. I dare say the food and everything is just a lot better out there. The vegetables, the fruit, everything else, it's just so much fresher and cleaner. You don't want to eat a lot because it's hot. So yeah, I've just dropped weight tremendously. Like, I've gone out there with a kit bag. I've come back with a complete new set of clothes because they just don't fit anymore, mate.
Wow. Okay, so we wanted to talk a bit about your profession. Obviously, you are head of security. You've worked alongside a number of illustrious names. Now, the one that people know, Tommy Robinson. You are head of security for Tommy Robinson. Now, I don't really digest a great deal of his policies, but I can imagine that's a very dangerous job.
I wouldn't say it's dangerous for me. It's more dangerous for him and what his beliefs and what he stands for. Yeah. Some things, most things I agree with him, but I'm not there to agree or disagree. I'm an employee, and I like to see myself as more of a friend. He's a top man. We do a lot for each other. And to be honest, I'm not going to sit on the fence. I agree with a lot of what he says. I really do. But I don't get too invested in that. I'm there as an employee. I'm there to keep him safe. And that's my job.
And I expect you get a fair bit of trouble. Obviously, that's great training for the bare knuckle boxing.
Yeah, well, nothing's actually come my way
Oh,
yet.
good.
But I've had plenty on Facebook. You're a racist. You're this. You're this. But again, I'm on that. Just an employee. Just an employee.
Exactly. And Billy Joe Saunders as well. I saw him sending you a message of good luck against Carl Hobley. How do you know? How do you know Billy?
Again, through Tommy. We're just it's a close knit of friends. Billy's a good friend of Tommy's. And now me and Billy speak regular. So yeah, it's a top guy. Top guy.
Brilliant. Okay, so sponsors and thanks. Obviously, I understand you have quite a few. I'm not sure if you wanted to narrow it down or did you want to list off all of them?
Well, the thing is, right? So I see them as sponsors. People see them as sponsors. I see them as their support. They're supporting me. They're not sponsoring my dazzling boxing abilities. I assure you. Yeah. what they're supporting is what we're trying to do. Yeah. We get in there. We have a scrap. We put a show on. We put a fight on every time. It's a fucking war. And they're supporting me going into that ring every 3 months. Now going into the ring every 3 months, and they're supporting me to do that and to come away with a purse for a child, which either pays for them to have physio, pays for them to even take a break. Even the parents, some of these parents that have got children with cerebral palsy, they can't just go for a meal and leave their child with an 18-year-old, 17-year-old babysitter and go out for the night or even get a hotel.
Yeah.
These children need professionally looked after. So and to leave the child with somebody like that in a hospice or some sort of place where they can leave the shit, it's not cheap. It's very expensive, and there's some families that we've helped have not had a night away in 4 or 5 years that child's been around. So yeah, it does. It's a few quid. I mean, you can buy yourself a pair of trainers and a pair of jeans, and then knock it in 6 weeks. But if you're paying for a kid to have physio to enable her to sit down under her own duress, then it's a no contest, you know. And I just bringing Carl Hobley up as well. He's exactly the same as me. We're cut from the same cloth. He wants to donate his money to charity just for the simple fact we're not in it for the money. We're in it to have a fight. We enjoy having a scrap, and the money comes second. But the fact it can go to someone, helping someone further their life, then they can have it. Take it.
Beautiful. Well, Andrew, that was a lovely closing statement. We look forward to seeing you. I think it's in August now. I don't exactly know the date anymore, but
yeah,
August
14th.
That's the one. August 14th, BKB 21, Andrew Ross versus Carl Hobley. Andrew, thank you for your time.
No dramas, mate. See you all there.